Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hi everyone, my name is Awliyaa Zahrahfatin, and this video is my reflection for the sociolinguistics in education midterm assessment. I analyzed two case studies, case A, code switching and translanguaging in an English class, and case C, language, gender, and classroom interaction. So through these cases, I learned how language, identity, and social dynamics strongly influence the classroom context, especially in multilingual settings in like Indonesia. So from three cases, case A, case B, and case C, I chose case A and case C. Case A, which code switching and translanguaging in an English class. In this case, the teacher used both English and Indonesian while teaching grammar. For example, she said things like, "Good morning everyone, hari ini kita belajar grammar ya." Or maybe talking like, "So guys, today we're going to talk about grammar." Ada yang pernah denger gak tentang simple past? Something like that. It's called code switching from English to Indonesia or from Indonesia to English. This shows clear code switching, where the teacher alternates between two languages. So, this practice reflects translanguaging, a pedagogical approach where teachers and students use all their linguistic resources to build their understanding. Translanguaging helps learners connect English with their existing knowledge of Indonesian or maybe Sundanese or Japanese, maybe like their other languages, reducing anxiety and encouraging participation. So by using this code switching technique, kids or maybe students would feel less anxiety and they would feel courage to participate in speaking English in the class. From a sociolinguistic perspective, this connects to the concept of language and identity. The teacher's language choice reflects her dual identity and as both an English teacher and a local Indonesian. By switching codes, she maintains authority while also creating a warm, inclusive learning space. It also shown the idea of communicative competence by Himes, 1972, which emphasizes not only grammar but also the ability to use language appropriately in social contexts. The teacher demonstrates this competence by adjusting her language to fit the students' needs. However, the excessive code switching can have limitation. So if overused, it might reduce students' exposure to authentic English input. So therefore, balance is essential, using translanguaging as bridge, not as a crutch. Okay, so for example, when we code switching too much and the students don't understand the context, they would use it more like up to them. The authenticity is less and it's sometimes it's not what it has to be used. For example, aku lebih prefer. Prefer already means that kayak aku lebih memilih or aku lebih menyukai or kayak I prefer gitu ya. But sometimes the students don't understand the context, so they would just say it. It is good to code switching because it would make the students more used to the English and they are courage to speak English in the class, but sometimes when the courage that doesn't meet the knowledge would make the language is less and less authentic. And also, um, kata aku sih lebih better already means that better better. And then also, for example, there is how about kalau. I think how about already means gimana kalau jika kayak gitu, something like that. So it's double meaning. From this, so my reflection and implication is that from this case, I learned that code switching and translanguaging are not signs of weakness in language teaching. They are powerful strategies for inclusion and understanding when it's used properly and the teacher actually knows how to use code switching correctly without making the students um, um, too comfortable without knowing the context. As a future English teacher, I'll use translanguaging intentionally to clarify difficult ideas, to value students' local languages, and to help them gain confidence before fully transitioning to English. So it would actually be very good to make the students understand better. And next case C, language, gender, and classroom interaction. In this class, the classroom interaction revealed clear gender dynamics. Male students tended to dominate discussions, while female students spoke less, even less, when they had good ideas. This connects to the sociolinguistics concept of gendered language use. According to Tannen, 1990, men and women often have different communication styles. Men's talk tends to be more competitive and assertive, whereas women's talk tends to be more competitive and assertive. Men tend to be competitive and assertive, while women's talk is more cooperative and supportive. So this pattern was visible in this case. The male students frequently took initiative, while the female student hesitated or gave shorter answer out of this anxiety, I think. So another relevant concept here is Power and Solidarity by Brown and Gilman, 1960. The way students address and respond to each other reflects not just gender, but also perceived social power. The teacher's role, therefore, becomes crucial to ensure that all voices, especially female ones, which always kind of reduced because men talk louder and more confident, and it's kind of intimidating the women because the social norms again. So therefore becomes crucial to ensure that all voices, especially women, are equally valued in classroom talk. This also links to language ideology, where social beliefs about gender affects language behavior. For instance, girls may internalize that being too talkative is impolite, which limits their participation. So, from my perspective, from my reflection and implication through this case, is that I learned that gendered interaction patterns don't just happen. They are socially constructed and can be changed through teacher awareness. As a future English, again, I will actively design gender inclusive classroom practices like rotating discussion as leaders, giving equal speaking time, and encouraging female students to voice opinions confidently. This case helped me understand that promoting equity in classroom talk is part of promoting equity in education itself. So, to conclude all my rambling, both case A and case C highlight that language use in education is never neutral. It always reflects whether it's identity, power, and the social structure. As future English teacher again, I cannot say that often. We must be aware of how our language choices shape classroom dynamics, student confidence, and inclusivity. By combining linguistic theory with reflective teaching, we can create classrooms that are not only linguistically rich but also socially just and empowering for every learner. So, everyone, I think that's all from me. My reflection on both case A and case C. Thank you very much for a nice attention. Wassalamualaikum